If you enjoy our podcast, please like and subscribe and consider becoming a digital subscriber to the Albuquerque Journal to help us bring you more content like this. You can find this episode and all of our podcasts on the Albuquerque Journal website, abqjournal.com, as well as YouTube, iTunes, and Spotify. See the show notes for a discount code on a digital subscription. Thank you for supporting the Albuquerque Journal, New Mexico's leading news.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to the latest edition of the Business Outlook podcast. I'm your host, Kylie Garcia, business reporter covering retail and real estate for the Journal. I want to start off by thanking our sponsor, C&M. Today on the show, I have Tego Venturi. He's a local realtor and the owner of Venturi Realty Group. We talk about him winning Realtor of the Year, his outlook on New Mexico's market in 2025, and his thoughts on affordable housing. So enjoy the show.
C&M is truly one college with infinite possibilities in tech and data sciences. C&M offers programs where everyone can learn about software, apps, or how to build websites. You can also choose from AI programs and machine learning, the Internet of Things, and so much more. C&M, one college, infinite possibilities, and a proud sponsor of the Albuquerque Journal's Business Outlook.
Hi, everyone. I'm joined today by Tego Venturi, a local realtor, owner of the Venturi Realty Group, and former president of the Southwest Multiple Listing Service. Before we hop into the questions, Tego, can you just introduce yourself, maybe where you're from, where you went to school, how you got into real estate?
Sure. I've lived in New Mexico, since 1990 now. Mm-hmm. I grew up in Michigan and traveled here back in the 70s with my family with a van, traveling around the country. And I just fell in love with the Southwest and made my way down this way after school, spent some time in Phoenix, spent some time in Durango, Four Corners area, and then migrated to Albuquerque here, like I said, in 1990. So, yeah, I love the area, and I always say it's like Albuquerque and New Mexico, I think it's still undiscovered by many people around the country. It's a pretty special place.
Yeah,
We've got our challenges, of course, but I think weather, you just can't beat it.
Yeah, and those sunsets, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So you seem to have a pretty good year in 2024, seeing as though you recently received the Realtor of the Year award from the Greater Albuquerque Association of Realtors. What do you attribute that success and that recognition to?
Well, what does the saying go? Overnight success took 12 years. It's kind of like that. So I started volunteering in the association. So we have the Greater Albuquerque Association of Realtors, which is it's a professional organization, right? We're an affiliate of the National Association of Realtors and so on. But here locally, there's about 4,500 members here in the Albuquerque area. And it is a member-run organization, and so it relies on volunteers. I think at any given time, there's over 200 volunteers helping with the association and run the association. Mm-hmm. Of course, there's a staff and all that, executive director and so on, but it's really up to us as members of the association to volunteer, help make decisions, drive policy, drive decisions, drive rules, which is a lot of what the MLS does. And so I started getting involved in that in 2012, 2013, and have been involved ever since. The other big thing that happened in 2024, which I was very involved in, was there was some pretty major business practices changed forced upon the real estate industry and residential real estate in particular. And when it all came down, and I want to go into the weeds on that, but when it all came down, I really jumped in and said, you know what, I'm going to understand this because it was very complicated and confusing when everything first rolled out. And then I spent a lot of time helping educate others in our industry, what's going on, how to change your business practices to be in compliant with these new rules and these changes. And so, yeah, I think that's part of the recognition as well. But it's nice to be recognized. It's kind of cool.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Well, congratulations on that. And so you told me this week that you often joke about how you gave up your comfortable corporate job to jump into real estate full-time in 2007. I'm sure you probably remember those early days, what that was like pretty well. Knowing what you know now, what are some pieces of advice that you would give to other realtors who are just kind of starting out?
Oh, my gosh. First and foremost is recognize that you're now a small business owner. You're in business for yourself. Most realtors are independent. There's no salary as a realtor.
Yeah.
You get paid on a commission based on what you produce and how many clients you help and all that. So you're a small business owner, so you need to look at it as a business.
Mm-hmm.
You need to look at it as, you make a business plan, you set up your systems and processes just like you would for any other business, even if it's just you, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you work with a brokerage, but yet you're still kind of on your own pretty much. Set your work time, set your goals, be consistent. It does take time. I always tell new brokers or realtors coming into the business is, I hope you have 6 months of money set aside to live off of, because it is a process, right? We're not just out there just getting people into houses and getting paid the next day. It's a long process. We build up our clientele base, we build up trust, and we just keep working through these, until the business starts flowing is what I'm getting at. So that's what I would say. I would say definitely get yourself organized. That's one thing I don't see happen a lot. Mm-hmm. And I say the other thing is be a real student of the business, because people get a real estate license, right? There's a licensing law. You have to be licensed to be a realtor or a real estate licensee in the state. And that teaches you all the rules and the laws and the do's and the don'ts, and how to not break any rules related to helping people with real estate. Being honest and ethical and all that, and of course, but that's just the first layer of the cake. I mean, that's nothing when learning this business. There's so many things. I mean, you have to understand, what are inspections about? What's it like to show a house? How do you properly do an open house? How to be safe? How to I'm trying to think of some of what type of loan programs. There's literally hundreds of loan programs out there that buyers can use. There's title insurance. You have to kind of understand how that works. And you have to understand the city and the neighborhoods and every little thing. And a lot of that just takes time. So you have to really immerse yourself in it and spend a lot of time in it. And then lastly, which is kind of my niche, is the technology. There's a lot of technology in our business, and you have to make sure you understand that and embrace that and learn what you need to learn. So it's a lot.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Being a student of real estate, I think that's a good point. I had a gruff but sweet grandpa who always said, you learn more with your mouth shut and your ears open.
Yeah. No, it is. And what do they call it? The Dunning-Kruger effect. I don't know if you're familiar with that, where people that, have a little bit of information think they understand everything because they can't really see the whole picture. But once you've seen the big picture, you realize how much you didn't know or how much you don't know that you don't know, if that makes sense. So, I definitely see that Dunning-Kruger flow chart in the real estate business.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I know that you have a passion for, understanding the real estate business through research and data and technology. And so looking forward to this year, what are some trends that you expect to see in New Mexico's real estate market in 2025, and any major differences from 2024?
First off, I would say no to that specific question. I think 2025 is going to be similar to 24. But let's go back. I mean, 2023 was one of the slowest home sales years that we've seen in the Albuquerque area in a very long time. Just to put it in perspective, 2023, I think there was about 10,500 homes that sold.
Yeah.
Okay. 2024, it was maybe 11,000, a little bit more. But if we go back to 2022, there's about 15,000. So it's been a very big change, from those crazy pandemic years. But then if you go back to like 2018, 2017, we were still seeing, 12, 13,000, 14,000 homes selling a year in our metro.
Yeah.
So we're not back to those levels. We're not back to what I would consider normal levels of the pace of sales. And what we're seeing is people just aren't moving as often. They're staying put. And there's many reasons, but I think one of the big reasons that gets talked about all the time is a lot of people have a 3 or 4% mortgage, and they're not real excited about giving that up to go get now a 6.5% mortgage, for example. I do think we're just going to see more activity, though, as time goes on. People are going to go, it is really time for us to make a move, or as a buyer or a seller. And so I think through 25, we're going to see a little bit more of that, a little bit more activity. I don't think it's going to be crazy days like 22 or 21 in particular was the craziest year. But I think we'll see more activity. I expect home prices to continue to just moderately increase.
Yeah.
There's nothing in the pipeline that would indicate otherwise right now.
Mm-hmm. And any trends as far as houses versus apartments and the different types of residences?
Yeah, one thing we've had in Albuquerque now in the last few years is a lot of multifamily construction boom. As you drive around town, you see it. It's everywhere.
Yeah.
We're seeing a lot of apartments coming online. I don't think that's going to affect the homes and the home sales. But it is going to take some pressure off of rents, which is good news because rents have been under pressure for sure. The only challenge there is there's nothing in the pipeline for the future for multifamily. I was talking to somebody at the apartment, somebody that's in that world and said that, yeah, we've got a lot of apartments coming online right now, but 26, 27, there's nothing in the pipeline.
Yeah.
In housing itself, I haven't seen a lot of changes. One trend in new construction is builders are what they call value engineering their homes to keep costs down.
Yeah.
And there's only so much they can do. A new construction home now, in an outlying area, you're still going to be about $350 there's some that are a little bit cheaper, but $350,000 is kind of the starting price now for a new construction home in Metro Albuquerque.
Yeah, that makes sense. And so speaking of pressure on people, you've expressed also your passion for affordable housing.
Yeah.
From what you've observed, what is this current state of New Mexico's affordable housing crisis, and what are some possible avenues of solution?
Yeah, oh boy, that's a loaded question.
Yeah.
First off, it has been. I've been seeing it coming for a long time, to be fair. Probably in 2015, 2016, we kind of had a joke going with the Home Builders Association, which is kind of our sister association. And it's like, you guys got to build more homes. We need more homes. We need more homes. I mean, we knew it back then that we didn't have enough supply of homes in the pipeline. But there's a lot of reasons why that is. Part of it's just the economics of it. It's a huge investment to build homes, to build out a neighborhood. It takes millions of dollars in a couple of years to build out a subdivision, for example. That's part of it. There's a lot of costs just to build a new home. People don't realize this, but I was talking to one of the well-known production builders here in town the other day. They're paying the starting price for a lot to build a house on in the greater Albuquerque area is $100,000.
Wow.
That's before, that's just a production neighborhood. It's, curb, gutter, you got the pad site ready, you probably have a wall, you've got your utilities all ready to hook up. But they haven't even put a shovel in the ground yet. And they've got $100,000 investment in that. And then on top of that, we have, this is going to be my controversial statement, between permitting, taxes, gross receipts tax, and other fees related to getting a home built, they have another about 10% in costs. Again, nothing to do with actually building the property. And so when people say, well, why aren't they building $250,000 houses? It's like, it's just not possible.
Yeah.
And so that's a frustration. What's the answer? I'll tell you what's not the answer for sure, and that's trying to put restrictions on people that actually produce homes. And there are some builds out and about that have made a lot of noise, but they sound good. There was a bill in the New Mexico legislature this year. It got shut down, but it wanted to ban all corporate ownership of single-family homes. great and it sounds good. And at first glance, you go, oh, yes, we don't want those, big corporations buying all our homes. Well, the thing is, they're not in New Mexico. They're just not. So, they spent a lot of time on that where it could have been focused on things like helping with higher density, doing things with zoning that'll help with that. And there are some bills out there that address that. Unfortunately, they haven't been brought up yet. But so it is a multifaceted problem, and there's no silver bullet for the affordability challenges. But I will say there's a lot of people working on it. There's an organization here in Albuquerque called Strong Towns. You should check them out. They're doing some really good work on that. So anyway, it's. I wish I had the answer.
Yeah, multifaceted problem, multifaceted solutions. I'm sure.
Yeah.
And so, okay, to end with a couple of fun ones.
Okay.
If you could sell a house from any movie or TV show, which one would it be and why?
Okay, I'm a child of the 70s, so this is an easy one. The Brady Bunch house.
Yeah.
Yeah, because remember he was an architect, and it was such a cool house. When in the 70s when you saw that house. So yeah, I'd have to go with that. It wouldn't be the Breaking Bad house. I'm sorry, it just not.
Yeah, understandable.
The $4 million Breaking Bad house. Yeah.
And so, what's the most unusual or unexpected thing you've discovered in a house during a showing?
Oh, okay. It would be really easy for me to say something super disgusting, but I won't go there. I will say just one of the most odd experiences, kind of laughable, was in Paco, which is on the east side of the mountains, big community, really spread out homes. Showing home, open the door, dog out the door.
Oh.
So myself and my clients are driving around the neighborhood trying to catch this dog for like a half hour. We finally caught it, but it was like, that was not on our plan for the day. So
just the life of a realtor.
Yes, exactly.
Okay, well, that's all the questions I had for you today. Thank you so much for coming on to the Business Outlook podcast and joining us. I really appreciate your time.
Thanks for having me.